Hi, everyone. Welcome to A New View. I'm Kim, and I'm here with Shira, Lee, and Juji. We are four friends, speakers, and professionals from different cultures, backgrounds, and age groups coming together to offer healing and inspiration. Today, we are going to talk about finding your power in the workforce. Whoa, I have a lot to say about this. Just want to paint a picture. 2020, height of COVID. Working from home remotely at a new job, I found myself to be unhappy a few months in, and my soul would not allow me to my soul would not allow me to continue, basically. It was like, sometimes you just get so unhappy to the point where it's like knocking at your door every day, like, hello, you can't ignore me. So long story short is I expressed this to my boss. She made some changes. She was very quick to make changes to make me happy. And I was so grateful. And then fast forward a few months, it's like same old was starting to happen again. I just found myself to be unhappy, blah, blah, blah. And I wrote this Post-it. Oh, I meant to grab it from my desk. Okay, it's okay.
Is it right behind you? Go grab it.
No, it's like in the other room. It's okay. Oh. But I wrote this Post-it of these affirmations, and I wrote, I don't need this fucking job. It's kind of funny when I curse because I'm not a cursor, so it feels weird coming out of my mouth.
Go for it, girl.
I don't need this fucking job. Everybody wants me. I'm in such demand. I live a life of freedom and flexibility. Or my work, something about having a lot of freedom and flexibility, which was one of the things making me unhappy. So I wrote this Post-it, I put it next to my computer, and I just looked at it every day and I smiled because reading it made me feel happy. So on some level, I believed it. I believed that was possible, And I found myself a few months, probably by the end of the year, I found myself quitting and getting another job, and things just worked out for me and it was great. But I have to say, majority of my career, I've been working now over 25 years or something like that. And majority of my career, I've never felt empowered like that, where I could believe that I was an asset. If I'm going to now work for people, I want to make sure they're good people and they're nurturing and they care about me and that they're just genuine. And now all of a sudden I found myself looking at this Post-it every day and feeling this empowerment that was just there when it came to work. And I was like, I'm going to be picky about who I work for. And if I'm going to wake up and do a job that, I like it, but I don't love it. And I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that. It's a paycheck. I'm very good at it. I have my passion projects on the side, but if I'm going to wake up and do something and put that much time and energy into these people and this work, which is majority of our time and energy, right? I want to be really happy. I want to make decisions and choices that are going to lead me to happy, not lead me to more of the same. And the only way I was going to do that moving forward was to make choices and decisions from an empowered place, not a fearful place. And when I thought about that recently, just to prepare for this episode, I was like, wow, my entire past working life, even though I loved a lot of the jobs I had and I had some great experiences, I worked with some amazing people, I would make choices from just being scared. I take that job because, nothing else is coming up right now. What if I don't have another job? Somebody would ask me to change position or to take on an extra hat. Just any work-related decisions. They wouldn't all be, majority of them weren't from coming from an empowered place. And look, I know everybody can't just up and quit their jobs. Everyone's in a different situation. People have family, people have kids, people have certain situations they're in. They might not have the flexibility to do that. They might not have the financial life to do that. I totally get that. Everyone has choices. And everyone individually knows what's best for them. They're the only ones that know. We are the only ones that know what's best for us. My only big message here is just, you can be in an empowered place to make those choices if you're open to it, if you believe it. And I think the hard part about not feeling like you're a victim to your circumstances and like you don't have choices is all up here. So this Post-it changed my life. It changed my whole life. I took it out the other day and I was like, yeah, time to take this Post-it out again. Because even though I'm very happy with my job right now and everything, I'm just feeling something. I'm feeling change. I'm feeling, I'm ready for a little more of something else. I'm ready for more time to work on what I am passionate. I'm wanting a little something to lead me to more happy. And that's where we're always going, right? We're always like inching towards happy. And sometimes the road is like from A to Z and we're like, and then you're like, oh no, that doesn't make me very happy. Let me go up here. Oh yeah, that makes me happier. Oh wait, no, that doesn't make me, and it's just, sometimes it's just not a straight road. And I'm in this place now where I'm very happy with my job. I am. But I would like more time for the stuff I'm passionate about on the side. I'd like to work part-time, and I'd like to work part-time on the stuff I'm passionate about. And I work a little more towards the full-time. So now I'm like, okay, now it's time to write a Post-it and come up with my affirmations and talk to myself about, okay, how do I get to part-time and make enough money to, pay the bills, but also have more time for that. And it feels so empowering, because I think for the first time in my life, I realized like, I'm creating this for myself. This is up to me. I'm responsible for having a more flexible schedule. I'm responsible for spending time on the stuff. Like, I'm doing this. I'm powerful.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
The thing it's important to keep in mind is that all of it is growth. And when I think about, we can't separate our work mindset from all the other things we talk about, because even the fear that you were talking about that I can totally relate to, it's just like, oh, I need a job, and oh, they want me for this job, and am I going to get this job, and can I, but all of this fear and self-doubt stems from childhood. And even when we have fear and doubt in relationships, no matter who it's with, you can't separate. That's just work stuff also manifests itself like that, which is why I think this episode is so interesting, because it's just like work-life balance, and you're not a different person at work than you are in your regular life. And I'm here to say that I have carried some of the bullshit that I have brought into other relationships into work. That insecurity, that fear, that am I good enough? Can I do? And so I feel like my evolution as a person, and when you think about it, with all of this, like the big resignation going on in the world today, there's no coincidence that even work is evolving. There's no coincidence that the pandemic has forced us all to reevaluate, reassess, redo things. I mean, meetings on Zoom, people having, work from home, and with all of its challenges, it's shifting something. Something is shifting. And for me, it's been more of like the growth that I have felt from the inside out is now also manifesting its way at work, where I am speaking up and I am feeling like I love the whole, sticky, I don't need this fucking job. It's a mindset. It's always a mindset. And it always starts with the way we think. And it's so clear to me now, I can look back and see how I used to think, like, oh, Shira used to think that way, and therefore she got results X. Like, of course, you're only limited by, and it takes so long to sometimes really, really get clear on that. But if you stop and meditate, which is why I'm such a fan of meditation, because it forces us to stop and really listen to our monkey brains go and try to shift things in a new direction. It takes a lot of discipline, it takes a lot of time, but only at the outset. If you really start to make it a habit, you can really go, oh my God, I totally used to think that way. What? Like what? It's amazing.
Yeah. I think the meditation part about this, Shira, is a way to more quickly have that coconut on your head moment, right? Of breakthroughs.
Yeah.
That we sometimes just get after having suffered a long time or sacrificed so much. And this takes me back to my last job that I had that I've left. because of an agreement that we had that they couldn't follow through with. But I remember this one day, and I know I told you guys this story, and it may have even been on an episode where I was expected to do something that was way out of, my line of work at the time. And I was very uncomfortable with it. I needed to be they had asked me if I could be out of the office, go to like a client's home. I was in a physical therapy office, and they were like, can you go to this person's home and do something personal for them? And this broke down and that. And I'm like, are you kidding? Like, I'm here to manage this office. I have a staff. I have so many things to do and get to, but they were so short-staffed that they wanted me to do that task, which really nobody in the office should have been doing. And I'll never forget, Kim, you remember that morning I called you up. I got the phone call on my way to work, which is like, can you go straight there? And I would have been so behind on my own stuff. And I was like, not feeling good about this. But very quickly, not only through your, encouragement and support, but I started to realize, like, I could just say no. And what is the worst thing that can happen is that I'd get fired. And that would be the dumbest thing that they would do, because they so needed me and whoever they had at the time. They really were very short-staffed. And I got to the office, and and within that 15-minute ride, I became empowered enough. And I felt really good about going in there with confidence to say, I'm not doing this, And they were like, okay. And it was like, phew, although I was ready. I was ready to walk out. I was ready to take that, because I don't need that shit. We don't need certain things. You got to set the boundaries. And I felt like that day I set that boundary. And it's easy not to. It's easy to just say yes and be a yes person and follow anything and everything that somebody that you're working for wants you to do. And anyway, actually, this is leading me into this whole new, so I'm going to be actually changing my whole career very soon. I will announce it soon, and I'm very, very excited. It's something I've been into, and I've, just never really actually, a coconut fell on my head the other day, and I was like, I need to do this. So yeah, I'm very excited. And but anyway, I'm talking about setting the boundaries at work, because it's just not worth it. And as we are growing and maturing and evolving, we are realizing our worth, our value, and, nobody puts baby in the corner.
Even in the corner office.
That was
don't
an
take the corner office.
unexpected quote.
Don't take the corner office with the view. But
Well, Lee, I feel like what you just said is such a good lead into what I wanted to talk about, which is that a lot of people find themselves pivoting right now. And one of the things, I coach people, right? I coach people for a living, and there's mostly two topics that people want to discuss these days: relationships, which is obviously not surprising, and career, but always in the context of, I'm not happy with where I am. I would like to change. Can you tell me through my design what I should be doing? And my response is always like, do you know what you should be doing? And I will say 100% of the time they say, yes, I know what it is that I would like to be doing. And the perception that they have is that they simply cannot. And most of the time it's because we've been fed this sort of antiquated expectation that you chose a career at X time in your life, and then you're expected to follow through on that career because that's what our parents did. My father still has the same office from when I was born. He's been a mathematician since he was 14 years old. He has never once thought about doing anything else because he's so passionate about it. He's so obsessed with mathematics that it's literally his day-to-day existence. And that's okay. He is so passionate about it. He can't see himself doing anything else. And that's something that actually I feel that he is very lucky for, that he
Sure.
found his calling so early on in life. But that doesn't mean that that's how it is for everyone, because the world is full of unique human beings with unique needs, and it's all a rainbow. So just because something fit your personality, what your passion, what you wanted to do for the first, I don't know, 25 years of your life, doesn't mean that that's what you want to continue doing. And I will say, I understand that it is not easy to take like a hard right when you're on the road of life. It's not like, oh, now I can just, like that can be very jarring. It can be very destabilizing. I mean, you literally can't do that when you're driving. You're like, being knocked all over the place. So I understand that there is this perception that you can't just do that because of everything Kim said. You have responsibilities, you have a mortgage, you have children, you have a family, there's expectations there. But what I will say is, like, we only get this one life. We only get this one existence. I mean, right now we only get this one life. Let us be clear. But we only get this one chance. And if you know what direction you want to take your life, which most people do, it's not like most of us are walking around and it's a mystery. It's just that our perception is we can't. That's the perception. And it's like what I literally coach people through is going from, I absolutely cannot do that, to, oh, I'm doing that, like come hell or high water, because my soul won't let me ignore this thing that I need to. It's usually creativity of some sort. Like, I need to write this book. Like, I have a book in me and it's just dying to get out, but I don't have the time. I don't have the money. I don't have the whatever. Like, that book needs to come out. It just does. Your existence on this planet is far beyond just being here to pay bills.
Imagine,
you didn't come here to pay bills and die.
imagine all the books that have not been written that should have been.
Books, songs, paintings, recipe. Like, there's just so many forms of creativity. But one of the things that, oh, sorry, Lee, what was that?
No, go ahead.
One thing to keep in mind as we talk about this whole, work situation is that a lot of it has to do with our own perception of things, right? So there are times where I have been in jobs where I'm like, they don't know what they're doing. This place is so dysfunctional, just sort of like getting swept away with the crap. But the truth is, like, whatever job you have, unless you are completely a solopreneur and you are working by yourself all the time, you're going to be in an environment with other people and other opinions. And I read a book a couple of years ago called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck by Mark Manson. And he, in the book, he specifically wrote, and I've heard so many people quote this particular thing, so I'm like, it must really resonate with people. But he asked the question, he goes, what flavor of shit sandwich do you want to eat? Right? So you could be in a job that's like an abusive boss, gaslighting all over the place, overworked, underpaid, just really bad, toxic environment. Or you can be in an environment where it's like, oh yeah, there are a couple of pains in the asses and maybe you're not that passionate about it, but at least it's not that, right? So I'd rather have this flavor of shit sandwich than that flavor of shit sandwich. But if you're continuously improving the shit flavor because the thing is, you're always going to have some kind of a challenge. It's kind of like a relationship, right? As long as your non-negotiables are being met, and you can't have 10 of them, you can have like 2 or 3 or 4, right? These are the things that I must have in this working environment. Then you can go out and start meeting people and interviewing for jobs where you're interviewing them, right? We're always like, I'm being interviewed. I have to be on my best behavior. I have to say all the right things. I have to have all these examples and references. And it's like, well, hold on a second. You're also in the interviewing seat. And this is why the big resignation is happening, because people are so fed up with being on the boss is here and I'm here, or the corporation's here and I'm here. No, no, I'm sorry, but you have to meet up to my standards now. And I'm really good. I'm really good at what I do. So you're going to really want me. It's a whole shift in mindset, and it's something that you have to carry around with you.
Absolutely. And then there's the exact opposite, because this reminds me of something that Kim said before about not having an option, right? And I remember hearing this a lot in my marriage with my ex, who was a pharmacist, and he had a few businesses having to do with pharmacy, but he hated it and he was miserable, hated it beyond, always complained about it, hated the people he worked with, hated the industry. Anyone that said to him as a young person, I want to go to pharmacy school, he would be like, don't do it. It sucks. And I, over the years, have always said to him, why don't you change careers? Why don't you do something new? Why don't you take another class or see no, this is the only thing I could do. I have no options, Lee. I have no options. And it was so extremely closed-minded, the exact opposite of what you're talking about right now, Shira, where we are not only open to new things, but like we are demanding that we get some of that respect from the other side, right? We're on the same level of playing, this whole thing. It's
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah, for me, it was all about just finding my power that I never found in the workplace. And then also being aware, because you're going to give your power away 20 million times in the day. All day long, you can give your power away and have all these moments where you do that. And it's just, I think just being aware of that. It's not about figuring out how not to, because it's going to happen. It's not for beating yourself up for giving it away. It's just for being aware of when you give it away, so you can learn from that moment. My husband, Mike, a few years ago, I remember I said that to him once. He was complaining about his supervisor coming down on him for something, and he carried that around with him the entire day. And he got home, he was very upset, cranky. It ruined his whole day. And I said, well, you're giving him all your power. You gave him all your power today. And he had never heard those words like that. And he really got it. He was like, you're right, I did. He's like, how do I not do it? And I was like, well, I don't really know, but if you're aware, then at least you're aware, and then you could slowly start to take it back. And even now, like 2 years later, he'll say it to me all the time. Somebody will say something at work or treat him a certain way, or he'll have moments all throughout the day where something will bother him, and he'll call me and say, I'm giving Zach all my power, or I'm giving this person all my power.
It resonated with him. Yeah, I love
But
that.
like that's a huge step forward in your growth to acknowledge it.
Yes.
It doesn't mean that you're aware of it, and now all of a sudden a second later you're going to feel totally better. It doesn't mean that. It just means
right.
I always tell him, I'm really proud of you. Like, celebrate the fact that you're aware of that, And last night I was talking to him about this episode, and he played a song for me. Have you guys ever heard of the band? It's a heavy metal band. It's called Rage Against the Machine.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I wasn't familiar with it.
Rage Against the Machine.
Awesome, Kim.
And it's not like he said, do you know Def Leppard? Like, are they that big? I don't know. Anyway, they are. So he was playing the song for me. He's like, listen to this. And he played the song. It's called Take the Power Back. And I thought to myself, Mike, I said to him today, I go, Mike, next time someone takes your power at work, you can be walking around. He's a mailman. You could be in your truck delivering the mail and totally listen to that song. That could be like
the theme song.
But I said that could be a tool for you. That could be like a practice. Like, you put the song on, you're like, yeah, take the power back. But isn't that awesome to have a song you can play that like Freedom does that for me. George Michael's Freedom. Like, on days where I don't feel I have flexibility and freedom, I play that and I'm like, yes, I'm free. I forgot I was free.
That's why I say music is magic all the time.
It is. It's so moving and
Yeah.
touching in so many different ways. Amazing.
Girls, I think This is such an awesome place to wrap. What a great conversation. We hope you enjoyed our conversation as much as we did today. If you like our videos, please subscribe to our channel and be sure to let us know if you have any topic requests or questions by commenting below. We'll see you soon, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe.
Bye.